No.
Hi, I'm Siri from the Vibe team.
And I'm Sophie from the Vibe team, and we're sitting here with Thomas Prestø, and we just had an amazing dancehall class with him here at the Vibe Community Workshop. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that was our first dancehall class with you. So how do you think it went?
It went well. People were a little scared at first, and then after they got the warm-up in and loosened up, it went really well.
Thank you. No, it was fun, yeah. And what is actually dancehall?
Well, simplified, dancehall is a African Caribbean dance form of formal movement which is rooted in reggae. It also has roots in Kumina and Ubingi, which is what Bob Marley was actually singing before it kind of got redefined as reggae, etc. Hip-hop has several roots in dub through DJ Kool Herc, which was the first hip-hop DJ. So you could kind of say that dancehall in a way is related to hip-hop, or hip-hop's big sister, because it's actually an older form of dancing and not a new subgenre, which a lot of people believe. But there is a lot of borrowing going on between the two forms of dancing.
Yeah. So what inspired you to the choreography that you taught us?
It is interesting because the choreography I taught you guys was basically based on movements which our teachers in the Caribbean forced us to do in order to improve our technique. So it's actually a technique choreography, because I wanted to give you guys an insight into the dancehall technique so that it would kind of shape your movements. Because you're quite free in dancehall to create your own movements, etc. But your movements are created based on certain techniques, which allows your body to move in that way.
Yeah, because I thought that was really hard. Whoa, but it was so fun, so yeah.
Yeah, we know that you have held the title of the world's champion in dancehall 6 times. So we're like wondering what it was like to win it so many times, or what it was like winning it at all.
It was great. A couple of the times was really painful because you kind of have to push yourself to the limit. So one of the times I won, I had a blue and purple and green thigh for a week or 2. Never been that colorful before. But it was really really inspiring and a lot of fun, and it was also great to be able to come from Norway to the Caribbean and to be able to show that in spite of growing up outside, I still know my roots and could still stay true to them. There are a lot of world championships in dancehall because there's a lot of categories, and it's the same kind of as in hip-hop. Some competitions don't recognize the other competition as the actual one, but every single competition has been fun. Some of them really hard because the competition is really something else.
Oh, so what kept you from continuing with the competitions and just coming here and teaching in Norway?
Several things. One was kind of like, okay, I could check it off my list. And I had proven to myself that my technique was good, and what my actually very old teachers that were in the 60s were teaching me was very relevant to what the younger ones were doing. And the most interesting competition, I was no longer allowed to enter and asked to judge instead. And that made me feel really old, so I thought, okay, fine, I'll do something else. But it's also, my priorities changed. My goal now is to create a revolution within dance and getting dancehall acknowledged on the map as an arts form, not just as a curiosity. And my goal is to have my students dominate every competition instead. So now I want them to come home with 20, 25, 60 medals. Me just going up and getting 1 here and 1 there. So that's my goal.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. We sense that you were devoted to teaching us what you really knew about dancehall. So yeah. So who and what is your biggest inspiration?
Ooh, there are several, what do you call it, more modern inspirations, but I would say it's my ancestors, because a lot of people don't know that as a Caribbean, my ancestors actually died in order to keep dancehall alive. And also, a lot of people don't know, in order to keep gospel and soul and R&B alive, because shouting as a religious thing, which is turned into gospel, was not allowed and punished. Beating the drum was punishable by death or whips. Dancing, because if you could dance, you could fight, was not allowed. So a lot of my ancestors actually died in order to keep the dance movements and the rhythms alive. So that's kind of one of my major inspirations, is the whip, gun and dogs for 500 years could not beat this dancing and these rhythms out of us, and it's still very much alive. So I almost feel it's our responsibility to keep it alive, because people have sacrificed so much for it, and also to remember where it comes from and the roots and the techniques. So I would kind of say my ancestors are my dominant source of inspiration.
Yeah, that's deep. That's really deep. Yeah.
Yeah, even though I'm a hip-hop dancer, you are really a big inspiration for me and many other dancers I know about. And yeah,
it's really cool. So, do you have any advice for dancers not to do? Because we have a lot of advice what to do, but...
What not to do? There's several things. It's, well, number one rule, if something is painful, don't do it, or do it differently. Because dancing, and especially dancing which is non-European, I would almost say, both Asian dancing, African dancing, etc., is predominantly organic moves, meaning moves which are natural to your body. So if it actually is hurting your bone structure, etc., you're doing something wrong. Listen to your body. That is number one, because your body is your tool. That is what you use to dance. Also, remember your roots, both your own, because that is what defines you, and you will never ever be great as a dancer before you know who you are. That's when you will find your strength. So I would actually say spend some time with yourself to find yourself through interaction with others and other things. Don't ever limit yourself. Don't say, oh, I'm just a hip-hop dancer, so I can't take a jazz class or whatever, because there are so many things you can learn. A hip-hopper would learn so much from a tap class. The way of using the rhythm, the footwork, etc. can be used. So just never ever limit yourself, or allow others or yourself to categorize you. And they have a tendency to do that. And also never ever feel ashamed of what you're doing. A lot of hip-hoppers and so on, and also dancehallers, love what they do, yet when you're challenged from so-called institutional dancers, ballet dancers, jazz dancers, when they say, oh, what you do doesn't really have a technique, etc., we start excusing ourselves. And it is very clear, like, so you think you can dance. If a ballet dancer is doing a hip-hop, all of a sudden hip-hop has technique and it's so hard and you did really good, you didn't quite get the groundedness, but you did well. But if a hip-hopper does ballet, he's completely crushed by the judges.
oh yeah.
So you see that it's very lopsided. But they do know. They know it's technique because they know they cannot do it. So don't allow them to make you feel less. Don't buy into the lie that what you do is less technical and less artistic than what they are doing. Be proud of it and stay true to it.
That's really wise words.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the concept of the vibe?
I think it's a very good concept, especially when it comes to inspiration. It's a very good place to go to kind of break out of your bubble, especially because we are now in a very, very small country like Norway, meaning we like to believe that we're a country of the world, etc. And in some ways we are, because we do have a lot of money. But Norway is a farm country. And in some ways you notice it, but places like the Vibe helps to connect Norway with the rest of the world and to make the dancers here internationally competitive, and will also make it easier for Norwegian dancers to travel out, which would be quite hard because we are actually in such a bubble here and so protected from everything that is going on in the rest of the world, so it helps to open up, and that's really great.
Yeah, that's true.
Great! The vibe is great. Do you have a shout out to anyone?
Oi, I have a long list. I shouldn't go through the list, so since I'm on TV, I like my mother. I can't say I love her because then she'll slap me, but I like my mother and she's been very great. So that's a shout out to her, and then it's to all the people doing what they're doing around the world, and just keep the movement going, and let's make sure that everybody knows what we really do, and not believe that, I don't know, thunderclap is a dancehall move. So those people who are going strong and knowing the roots, big up, continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you so much. We learned so much on community workshop with you, Thomas Prestø, and thank you.
My name sounds so wrong. With you, Thomas Prestø.
Du sa jo at jeg skulle si det på engelsk.
No, it's fine, it's fine. Now you know why I have a nickname when I travel.
Oh yeah.
But that's fine, yeah.